Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Actually, this live event, Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening To, is being held on December 11th, 2023. It is the last month of the year 2023. It's going quickly, as all of these months and days have been. But I am truly looking forward to 2024, and I hope you all are as well. And I'm looking forward to 2025 and 2026 and 2027, 8, 9, and then 2030. And heck, let's just keep looking forward, looking ahead, looking beyond today, beyond the news, even beyond the weather forecast. Look beyond today. It was pretty cold last week, and I walked into a business, and they said, "Oh my God, it's freezing." I said, "Spring is coming." and he looked at me and said, "Spring is coming." As long as we're living, we realize that all things pass. For better or for worse, they pass. So I'd like to welcome you on this day that you are listening. May not be live, may be recorded. I'd like to welcome you. Thank you for stopping by. If it's recorded, please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell if you're on YouTube or any other platform where it's allowable. Why? Well, to be counted in, not to just be passing by. And if you find it valuable, definitely like and share, because other people you know may find it valuable too. And you know what? At the bottom, there's a comment section. Comment. You have an opinion? Share it. You have ideas? You can share it on my YouTube page or whichever page you're on, but more directly, you can email me, teamfollowme@yahoo.com, teamfollowme@yahoo.com. You can also go to my website, networkingforsuccess.info, networkingforsuccess.info, and you can check out my business. That's my business, Networking for Success. Not only is it the name of my business, but it is the business name because when I had to choose a name, I had to reflect on what I had done all my life and what my intention would be to continue doing. And for me, that is networking for success. Not networking for any other reason, not coming together and engaging with people for any other reason other than success. And it doesn't mean my success, anyone's. You know, when you speak to people and you touch on subjects, those subjects may have absolutely nothing to do with them. It's just a part of the conversation. But when that conversation is over, you, me, and he, always a song, you, me, and he, we are all leaving that conversation with more than what we came into the conversation with. And it may not be for us. It may be for the people that we meet the next day, next year, and 3 years. And it all comes back to you. Something that was discussed in that conversation. So I invite you to go to networkingforsuccess.info and open the doors to the many pages that are on that site, my business site, networkingforsuccess.info, I-N-F-O. Why info? Because that's what I provide. That's what I do. I couldn't put .dance yet. So it's .info, networkingforsuccess.info. Go to the promo page and you'll see the promotions, the offers for the books. I have 2 books. Another one is coming. So the next one coming is Letting Loose the Juice, a Relationship Shifter. Letting Loose the Juice, a Relationship Shifter. Any type of relationship. Business, intimate, parent-child. Getting it out. Letting loose the juice. That means speaking. Let's talk about it. Tell what you want to tell. Say what you want to say. And I've asked people to contribute. And it's not too late. Team follow me at yahoo.com is the email. And the subject, you can put letting loose the juice. And I will know that is your contribution to the book. It's going to be released the first week of January. So whatever you want to put in it, by all means, share. The 2 books that are published, the first one, Suicide is a Serious Killer, Let's End It Today. The second one, Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental. And we all have a mind. M-I-N-D. Mind is to mental as teeth are to dental. It's about the relationship. The relationship. Now, here's the funny thing. Let me say this. What I didn't know at the time of titling that book is that your dental health affects your mental health. I didn't know that. And what I also didn't realize when I titled that book is that I had recorded a video with the same exact title 4 months prior. But I titled the book that because the first book, Mind is to Mental as Teeth are to Dental, nope, the first book, Suicide is a Serious Killer, that word suicide has such a hotness to it. It has such a fear and such a misunderstanding to it that I wanted a title that was going to be a little bit more softer. A little bit more softer. And in its softness, it was going to welcome readers. But I will tell you, as I was thinking of a new title for the book, this is the conversation I was having with self, the most important person in your life, self. So I was having a conversation with self, and it went like this for 4 days. I need a softer title that would welcome people. And I would hear in my head, it's right in front of your face. So I would say, what's right in front of my face? And I would even say it with my lips moving in the mirror, looking at me, that self person, right? 4 days this went on. On the 4th day, I was speaking to a customer, and when I said to them, mind is to mental as teeth are to dental, and we all have a mind, the look on their face was like, oh my God, I got it. That makes so much sense. So I'm looking in my mirror, mind you, and looking in my mirror, and I see the expression of her face. It was like, duh. Like, duh. The expression on her face that said, I got it, that's what was right in front of my face. As I had been saying this now that I knew for over 4 months, because I recorded the video 4 months prior, as I would say it, it was the expressions on people's faces of, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, wow, yeah. So that's how this title came about. It's okay to talk to yourself. It's okay to answer yourself. Definitely pay attention to yourself. So on the promo page, when you go through that promo door of my website, you will see the books in ebook format. You will also see the books in paperback. And you can order them retail or wholesale, and you can donate them. You can order them retail, donate the books to an organization, and if you need the tax write-off or you do write off charitable, you'll get a document with the tax ID number. If you just want to give from your heart, because when I tell you, I have had no one in front of me to open that book to a page, just open, and not say, that's exactly what I needed. And it's like a shocker. And I don't tell them what page to open because I don't even know them. But people, when I'm at events, they will take the book and, brief through it, but they open the book, read. That's exactly what I needed. And then they would hand me $20, right? And I would sign it. Even exchange. What do you need and what has been given to you? Because not only do people need certain things, they also ask for that. And that's why I say to people, when you pray, when you chant, when you meditate, when you just go in silence, whatever you do to speak to a higher entity and to sometimes ask what you need, ask for direction, don't block it when it comes. Don't block it when it comes. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of meeting so many business people at a Christmas bazaar that we were all vendors at. Met some of the other guests as well. The networking was wonderful, straight across the board, but I get full off a conversation. I know, greedy I am. I get full off of conversation because I strongly believe in food for thought. Whatever it is, receive it. But that's why I'm also very careful, if I can help it, about what types of conversation, what types of material, what type of media I allow in, that I engage in. If a conversation for me, it's not about agreeing with me, but if a conversation is getting twisted in a direction I don't want to go in, I come out of the conversation. Some people don't like it. I love it because we all have to protect ourselves. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not a conversation that others may not like engaging in. They may, but I don't have to live with their brains and their minds and their thoughts and their dreams. So what's good for one is not good for another. And there may be good information in it, but if I see it going in a twisted way that I choose not to roll in, I step out of the conversation and I inform. you that I'm stepping out. I don't just like walk away. That would be ruder. That would be ruder. So go to the page, go to the book page. But if you have a list of people to give gifts to, people do different things at work, it has to stay under a certain amount. These books, and I would recommend either one of them, really. I'm not going to pick one over the other. You know your people, so based on the title, Suicide is a Serious Killer, Let's End It Today, that's a statement and a call to action. So if you want to be part of that, get out those signs and rally. No, we're not going to rally. But if you want to be part of such a movement of ending it, by breaking it down to its least common denominator and tearing it apart and helping people to understand, one, not every report of suicide is a suicide. Get that out the way. And two, it's not all about mental health. Some of it is about chemical deficiencies. Some of it is about mind control. If you want to be part of the movement, either one of the books are great, because they are going to move you in a direction where you can help other people. But if you have that gift list, people who you need to give gifts to, I highly recommend giving them one of these books. And you know how they say, you'll thank me in the morning? They're going to thank you for the rest of their lives. Ages 7 and above. 7 and above. This book is perfect. Both of the books. They're perfect. Someone said, you talk like it's the Bible. I said, well, define the Bible. Instruction, direction, information that should be leading to success. Okay, then take it. You got it. Hey, because those types of books come under many names, but for the same purpose, they could share. They could share. They could share the stage, a conference once again. They could share the stage. It is direction, information, empowerment, motivation. And I keep saying it is because I really focus on mind is to mental. They are very good pieces of work. And though I have written the book, like the artist paints the picture or the painting, it is my co-author that I have written for, and that is the creator, my creator. Maybe yours. I was doing something else at the time. I don't know. It's okay. My creator is my co-author, and I share with people any questions I cannot answer, any directions I cannot give with the help still of my co-author, then you can take it directly to my co-author any time of day or night. Ask and ye shall receive. Okay, so you can move on. Next door to open on the website is the travel sales. Go in there. As long as there's earth, people are going to be traveling. As well, and they're traveling beyond earth, but we're not handling that kind of ticket yet, right? Go to the travel sales. This is an opportunity to purchase and run your own online travel agency and to give the opportunity of travel to others. We have a lot of different promotional offers, but you could also give them an opportunity to book their travel through a portal that you can give them, and whenever they book travel, rent cars, shop at any of the stores, you can get paid. It is a business. Travel sales, right? Yeah, it's a business. You can get paid on anything that they purchase in the portal that you give them. You get a portal, you get a portal, you get a portal. Everybody gets a portal. Watch a step on the way out. you know, Give them all portals. You can sell the travel agencies as well, as I do. There's $60,000 in bonus money on the table, and I am here to help you. I have a whole team here to help you. As long as there's earth, people are going to travel. So check out the travel sale. Or give me a call, 347-457-2769. If you don't want to be in the business, not a problem. You want to give a gift of a travel portal to your friends along with the book? Well, guess what? I can help you with that. It's a win-win. So, financial strategies is also one of the doors. It's a little oily. I mean, a little dry, But I'm going to oil it up today. Financial strategies, there are different companies out there that can help you with your credit repair, credit restoration, can help you with home ownership. That's MWR. But when you go to financial strategies and click on it, click inside and open one of those other sub doors and see what's in there for you, if anything. If nothing, and come out that room, close that door, lock it for the next person. I'm just saying, there's a bigger bunch of stuff. But here's the key that's going to make me happy. In the next, I'm going to say 30 days, I am building a network of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, effective, quote unquote, programs that are helping people through life. So if you know, if you heard about, if you pass, not passing, that's not enough. We need credibility. We need referrals of professionals. Now, they could also be chaplains, they could be ministers, but we need them to have a good ear and good direction. And you don't know that unless you've used them or someone has used them. So that's why I say maybe not a pacifier, even though we'll let people make their own decision. But I am building a network of people who can help people when they need it. But it's only because I put in both of the books, get a therapist while you're at your best. Get a therapist while you're at your best. Because that is going to be the best person to get you back to your best if life ever throws you a curveball. That's a baseball term, right? A curveball. If life ever throws you a curveball, you need someone who knows you before that pitch went out. And they're going to be able to help you get back to home base safely and effectively. And I mentioned the professionals, but it could even be a person who has the ability and the discernment to hear, to listen, to receive, to process, to be there for you, and to give you direction. Send us. teamfollowme@yahoo.com. I have a hotline number, 347-649-7741. 24 hours a day. You can call that number, leave your comments, your questions, your suggestions, your referrals, of the people. If you know anyone who's going through a crisis, they can call 988. They can dial 988. And I'm grateful to know that there is no disconnect. There's a human contact, and then there's a human contact. There's no disconnect, which I think is wonderful, and I hope that never changes. But my hotline, again, is 347-649-7741. And I really appreciate all the referrals that you send me. I appreciate knowing that you are listening, that we are listening to each other, and that, life is going to go on. It's going to go on. It's going to be the best. We're going to take our lessons and keep marching through them, marching with them, marching for them. Our experiences are not always about us. Sometimes our experiences are for others to learn from. So that's why it's important. I just want to make sure I'm being heard. Can you hear me? Yes, maybe a little bit.
I hear you. Hi,
Thank
Evadyne.
you. Thank you. Hi, Vito. How are you? Hi, Beverly.
Oh, Beverly's next to me, and
Oh,
I'm
I
in
know.
and out.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. And I'm not sure if you have a comment, if you all have comments. I'm just kind of like going through life and sharing some information. But how are we doing today? How's it going? How was your weekend?
It was fine, thank you. It was indoors more or less, but fine, thank you. I had things to listen to and people to listen to and learn from.
Ah, very good. We had a lot of rain in the
Right,
last,
and indoors.
what, 24, 48 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Friday night, Sunday, well, till Monday.
Yeah, and now it's almost like freezing. This wind is like it's weird. It says it's 44 degrees, but the wind makes it feel like 20.
Well, they
It's
said
really,
33 degrees we had today. At least
I
at
never saw that.
20, at 12:30, that's what the guy said, 33. Feels like
Okay.
26.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I do not have degree in degrees, but I
Where
think
are
so.
you in New Jersey?
I'm in Long Island now.
Oh, you're in Long Island. Okay. Oh, there's
Yeah.
even colder. Supposed to be.
Well, again, I was showing in the 40s. I never showed the 30s today. For morning, it was warmer than it was like at 4. It got really it started getting really cold at 4,
Uh-huh.
like bone chilling
Uh-huh.
cold. It's weird. But
Okay.
we're here, whatever it is. We're here and
Yeah.
we're
I like.
safe and we're taking it all in, right?
Yes. Yeah. Food
We're taking
is. Yeah. It's a day to be with a good book in your bed.
Listen. You know, what they say, it's a time and place for everything, and it's good to know what time it is so you could be in the place. Period
Right.
and done.
Yeah.
And what we're hoping for, praying for, wishing for, is that everyone has shelter. You
Yep.
know,
Everyone is. Mhm.
that everyone has shelter. I haven't read it, that it's in the Constitution that, what does it say? That adequate housing is supposed to be afforded to every, I think it says American, but let's go with everybody in America. But definitely that adequate housing should be, you shouldn't have to scrunch for it, or not eat in order to pay your rent, or not live in order to pay your rent. That's not supposed to be. Housing, as long as, the weather is the way it is in different parts of the country, shelter is supposed to not be a luxury. It's not supposed to be a luxury. It
Let's
should
hope that they
be.
see it in their agenda in the panel
Mm,
in Parliament that they have it and they update it.
you say they need to read it over again?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. But that makes a whole lot of, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, that just the basic necessities for life should definitely be part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Real food, real food. I'm sure they didn't put the word real in there, but real
Oh,
food.
real. Oh.
Real food,
It's almost on extreme.
adequate housing, transportation. And you don't have to have a Lamborghini. Transportation.
What about health?
Well, see, if we have real food, we have health, right? But
Yeah,
yes, good
yeah,
health.
you could do that, but it still would have the odd sick ones that need,
Well,
affordable.
yeah. Affordable health care. I heard today that the health care, oh no, that was wrong now, that the health care system is changing in 2024, but not changing dramatically. It had nothing to do with the general public. It had to do with independent contractors
Mm-hmm.
that one of the companies, that's okay, so I'm unscrambling it. One of the companies that I'm with, they are adding health care to what they offer for independent contractors. And that's a good thing because sometimes if you're not married but you're making good money and you're independent, so if you're married and your spouse has benefits, then you're covered. But if you're not married, then if you're independent and you're making 70, 80, 90, 100,000 a year, the Affordable Care Plan is not really for you.
Mm-hmm.
You won't qualify for no cost, but then when it comes to cost, it can be very costly. But healthcare always, I don't call it healthcare, the medical insurance always tickles me because it's hardly preventive.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly preventive. It is diagnostics for what's to be managed, but there's very little true preventive care. And I said when I was a kid, nope, a little older, maybe about 18-ish, that a complete physical should include a full body MRI, a full body scan, at least once every 5 years, because that could help us see what's going on in our bodies long before we have a symptom. Now, I don't want it to be invasive or dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to see head to toe what's going on in our bodies before it falls off. Before it falls off.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you have a symptom, it's falling off. Where
MRIs are pretty expensive, so I doubt they will want to comply with things like that too. So,
but they already bought the machine. Why not?
yeah.
I'm sorry. We already bought the machine. So, taxpayer dollars, right?
Yeah.
Taxpayer dollars, college tuition, whatever. You already have the machine. If it sits there and gets dusty, that'd be a greater disservice to the machine being there. So use it. You know what I mean? Like use it. It's so
Yeah.
weird with insurance. One of the companies I'm with, Ameriplan, they have Ameriplan Health, and they have a fee schedule. A fee schedule. So all insurance companies have fee schedules as well. And I remember when my daughter, she used her father's benefits that she was under, but for some reason we still got billed for lab work. They billed us 200 and I think $75, a little over 250, between 250 and 275. That's what they billed us direct. But we were like, no, well she has coverage, So we called them up, gave them the insurance card information. But I did a three-way. See, I personally don't have time for me calling you and having a conversation with you, then somebody else calling you and having, and then that's I don't call, no. Let's have this conversation together. So everybody was on a three-way. The insurance company confirmed that she was covered. The lab billers said, okay, I see here. Okay, all right, I see here. Okay. Yes, we did receive these. I said, what did you receive? They received literally under $60
Mm-hmm.
for the lab work. I said, wait. So you're paid in full now? So they said yes. I said, well, how could you be paid in full, let's say $60, when you billed me
200.
close to $270? Well, the insurance company has a different fee schedule. When you're private, it's a. I'm like, gee, Mo, Christmas. What?
Mm-hmm.
So it's what we know and what we don't know. Just like if you go to a doctor's office. If you're a private patient, you go to a doctor's office, it could
And
cost you between $200 and $300 for that visit before your lab work,
yeah,
right?
paperwork, time,
Yeah.
space, the
Yeah.
coffee.
But your insurance company, if they took your insurance, would only pay them like $75 for that visit. That
Mm-hmm.
same, and that's a little high, but I'm giving it a high because when I looked at it, it was $35. But that was like in the 90s. I haven't really seen it since then. So I'm going to hope that the doctors have gotten a raise. So like $75 for something they're going to charge you three and change for as a private patient.
Right.
I don't know. It's just the balance of balance.
Mm.
But yeah, it would be nice to officially either rewrite that document or just create a new one. Just create a new one
Create
because
a new.
things have changed.
Yeah. You can start it.
Oh, you're so kind, Beverly. You're so kind. You know, I'm working on a medical registration form that's going to ask the questions about what type of skincare products you use, deodorant, shampoo, what are your cleaning products, because all of those things affect your health.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they are never on, none of that is on the registration form when you're coming to the doctor for the first time or updating your documents. They don't ask you about that.
Sometimes they don't even ask you even when you're established as a patient. They really don't. Because I
And they
have a few, like I go to the doctor and I have a few jokes I wish I would not talk that I do with the doctor. And like I said, up to yesterday I was talking about it because yesterday I had to go back on one of the hospital pills. And the doctors don't really have an idea of what the patient does when they give them prescriptions, what they do, if they take it right. They ask you. They don't have a test to verify whether you're taking it or not. And they don't ask you if you're allergic. They really don't. They just assume, because some patients don't know what they're allergic to. And they just assume that they're giving you this and it will work. Especially like for me with post-stroke. Most of the medication, like when I started, I said, it itches my skin. They don't go in
mm,
and take a blood test to find out. I went to the hospital. I had a stroke. Supposedly, a lot of things like you say come up after, and the stroke happened in a period of time when I was at my healthiest. Doing yoga, Zumba, eating right, part vegan. Walking,
mhm,
drinking as much water as I can. That was my own.
mhm,
I mean, I'd have drank the gallon of water I'm supposed to drink a day because all the fruits and the smoothies. But the doctors, they're not very invasive. And if, like I tried to say, which I wanted to do naturopath and, herbals,
mhm,
they don't want to hear that at all. I didn't
mm,
take the COVID vaccine, and my doctor insisted because I had a stroke. It is necessary. And I
mm,
joke every time I go there, she always remind me. And then when I go seasonally, she puts on another vaccine. Oh, Beverly, you should take the flu.
mm,
Oh, Beverly, you should take the pneumonia. And I
mm,
usually have a laugh because I have never taken any vaccine. Since I
mm,
out of school, primary school, they had to take all the vaccines. Even tetanus, I don't take. You know,
mm, mm,
and even when I go there, I don't wear a lot of jackets and coats and things. I mean, I used to be really supposedly thermally warm enough. And she's like, you wearing that? Why you don't have a coat? You don't have a coat? I say, I have lots of coats, down coats. But I really, I really don't feel, I didn't used to feel that cold.
right.
Can't understand that. I say, you know, I never went to the doctor until 66, till I turned 66 was one of the only times I could say I traveled from Brooklyn to Florida, and I got phlebitis, and I went to the hospital. And that's about it. And that was 89. And since then, I have not been to a hospital, or a doctor, I should say. Dentist was the only thing I was going to. And, she was like, you don't do this. And she was like, in disbelief. How, like this stroke. My cholesterol was like 14 points over the amount. And you want to give it steroids? For you could, like, nobody thinks about. I had I spoke to the doctor, and I say, how about something herbal? He said, herbal can't cure that. I said, yes. I said, there are things he could take. And I told him. He got on the computer, he went and he looked at it, and he said, I'm going on vacation. When I come back, we'll check out that. And I laughed. He had told I laughed, because that's, they're very complacent about things. They don't take anything seriously. You say you want to go to a naturopath, that's a death thing for them. When that's a death sentence to you. That they don't believe in naturopaths or diets at all. Even the dietitian that sent me to, like I said, my sister was a dietitian, so I was like basically know certain things. And I listened to her, and we talk, and I agree with quite a few things that she said, and it is true. And I mean, which, like, anybody can tell you, I am not a snacker. My snacks are nuts and fruits. I tell people there's one vegetable I could tell anybody I don't like is green beans, and I eat it. But every vegetable or any fruit, I am going to eat it. I'm not a snack, a hack, and that was my only craving. And that used to be like twice a year. So I, like a lot of things, like I say, I have a hard time with my daughter and her daughter, my granddaughter, eating stuff. But I always say to myself, I ask God why and what is He trying to teach me through this stroke? Patience, or learning to listen to people, or have people do things to me, something. What I don't understand how I got this stroke, because I really tried to diagnose myself and chat pre-stroke. And, sometimes I say, maybe I'm supposed to take the hospital pill. Maybe I'll get better with that, But, a lot of times I have no faith really in a lot of doctors. And I have doctors in my family, but I really don't have a lot of faith in what they do at the hospital, because they don't listen to the patients. And the nurses, some of them, they are none the wiser. They listen to what the doctors say. Very few nurses I see will say something different to what the doctors say. When I was in the hospital, I had a confrontation with almost everybody. The dietitian, food. This is not diet food for a person with hypertension, as you say I have, or cholesterol. Is there eggs every day? Some bread that has no grain in it. It's like yogurt, a regular yogurt with the fruit and the sugar. Oh my God! So every day I had somebody. I had some complaint for the first couple of days, and then I stopped complaining, because, I mean, I was in the healthcare profession, so I know certain things. When I ask for breakfast, this is breakfast, can I have breakfast coming? No, you can't have breakfast coming, but you can eat this? Okay. So, it's a lot of things in the healthcare system in America that you need to go to a lot of different countries and see is, how they operate, those countries that have free healthcare, even smaller ones, even third world countries, and see how they operate. That they have this big amount of money that they could use, that is spending on whoever insurance and whoever private practices that they have, on all the war money that they're sending. They could use part of that for healthcare, and upgrade a lot of things, but they don't. They have a few naturopaths on staff, and they will see what will happen to the hospital care. That's one of my biggest things, because I said, when I was in hospital, I went in there not because I liked it. I went in there because my mother insisted I got a job at 18, and that was the only thing at the time that I should say she helped me get. But it wasn't something I like. I eventually found that I, enjoyed being a nurse, but it's like night and day coming to America. Nurses in America, I call them desk nurses. Nurses in the West Indies, you work. You train working. So, you know everything is a computer here, and you sit at the desk and you chat what the subordinates do. And, Florence Nightingale, they need to know that story. But, the healthcare system is my biggest gripe in America. Not because I was sick, but it just is what I see. I used to work privately with patients, and what they get and how they diligently take the medication. And if you say something other than, you tell your relatives, something other than what they taking to try, they think you're trying to kill somebody. So
Mhm.
that's bad.
It's so interesting. So, did you work in healthcare in America? You were a nurse
Uh,
here?
I did a little when I came here, I had to do foreign nurses exam. So they give you 5 years to do it, and I was computer illiterate. I mean, like, I had never used a computer, could say, for anything. I was never ever sedimentary in my work life. We didn't have computers in Trinidad at that time.
Mhm.
So they gave me 5 years. So I worked through agencies. So it was
Mhm.
basically out of a hospital. And then when I
Mhm.
did start working I worked in Lenox Hill Hospital, and they gave you a year to get your certification. I didn't get it.
Mhm.
I really did
Mhm.
not go back to school to get it. Because my friends who were doing it, I said them, I'm making almost as much money as you're making, and I am not going through all of this. So I did private care. And then
Very good.
yeah,
Good.
so that was what it was. They did hospital care. I mean, I regret it because a lot of things I missed out on. You have to everything private. You have to do your own insurance, and you have to do everything else. Hospital
Mhm.
wise, even though it's not the best, you get insurance and you get pay raises and things like. I
Mm.
had to fight for that sort of thing. But it was an experience. I mean, I work what is that North Shore Hospital? Not sure. It was called Not Sure. Anyhow, I worked there too a couple of times, and Lenox Hill and NYU a couple of nights there. But basically, after that, I had my own home care. I did home care.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and baby care. I
Thank
did.
you. I'll say.
I
I'm
did baby.
sorry.
No, I don't know because when I left Trinidad, that's what I did. I work in the operating room as a runner. So my last stint in working was babies. So that was my major thing. Like maybe 20 years I did that. Yeah.
So I will say thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
I say healthcare and education. I believe that there should be so many benefits
Mhm.
to healthcare workers and to educators. I think I kind of put this in writing some decades ago
Uh
that both of those fields should almost have free housing. Free
huh.
housing. And they should get paid, of course, but they should have free housing because, or if they already own a home, they should get a housing stipend. We need those two professions for the future of life. We need educators for the future. We
And
need
listen.
healthcare workers for the
Yeah.
future. That's the only way we're going to be successful. I mean, in a real world, that's
Mhm.
supposed to be a real world. That's how I see it. There should be a benefit. And if you're not going to get free this and free that, then there should be like a universal discount card where your groceries are 50% off. You know what I mean? Like, because really, Alaska gives their homeless people $10,000 a month on their
What?
public benefit card.
What?
$10,000 a month. They
Oh my
cannot get
God.
housing with it, but it maintains the quality of life. They
Hmm.
don't have to steal. They don't have to beg. They don't have to rob people in the street, unless they have, of course, a mind health condition.
All
They
right.
don't have to do that. They can not only can they go buy clothes, they can take a few folks shopping. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about stimulating the economy because public benefit money goes right back where? Right back into the economy.
You're right in economy. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't build up. Every month it's a fresh new $10,000. It doesn't build up, but it keeps people happy
Right.
and it maintains. Now, why are they homeless? I really don't know, but I was reading this article or I saw something where it could have been on a podcast where they said that they ran into this man who was homeless And it was on social media. So she ran into this man who she always saw he was homeless, and she said, "I don't have cash, but come with me to the bank," because he was a regular, so she felt safe. He had much money in the bank himself. She says, "You have money in the bank." She said, "Why are you homeless?" He says, "I refuse to succumb to this country's idea of housing."
Hmm.
So he's homeless. And then this other person told me that he knew these two homeless guys, and well educated, which I'm not surprised. Well educated. One gentleman said he would never live in a house again because his wife and children died in a house
Oh,
fire.
okay.
So it was psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that incident had a psychological impact on him, and he lived in the street. And so homelessness is interesting. But aside from that, our medical system is involved in the management of individuals, not necessarily the curing. I had a customer today. He's a resident at, where were we? I'm going to say Hostos, maybe. And I said, "What's your field?" So he said, "Cancer, oncology, radiation." And I said, "Well, what do you think about cancer?" Right? "And why did you pick that field?" He said his aunt died from cancer, breast cancer, and unfortunately, it could have been treated if caught early. He says she didn't know, no one really knew, and so that's how she and how her life ended. So that became a passion for him to understand it and to help people. I said, "Are you going to be doing that? Did you learn that you're going to be helping people?" So he says, "I know, I know, I know." He says, "A lot of the students, the residents, talk about what they're being taught versus what they know, or what their idea of a better option is, based different from what they're being taught." So I said, "Oh, okay." So I said, "What's a tumor?" Oh, but before I go to what's a tumor, Beverly, were you on the Health Man show yesterday?
Yes, last night, yeah.
So you said you were drinking at least a gallon of water a day. What kind of water were you drinking before your stroke?
Well, basically, what's it called? The name of the water? Poland Spring at one time, but now, most of the times now I drink Fiji water. My
Okay.
sister, my
So,
sister, and my cousin, they had an alkaline. It's, I don't know if you call it a pump or a machine.
oh, the Kagan machine.
I didn't hear you.
Kagan.
Is
Yeah,
it the Kagan? Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That was like since maybe 2000. So it
Mhm.
became strange. So I stopped going there to get water. But so I
Mhm.
started doing Fuji water most of the times.
Mhm.
So I heard him talk a couple of names, something with a E tonic or E something that I said I wanted to
Eternal.
try. Right, eternal. Right, I
Eternal.
wanted to. Yeah, but I don't think I ever had that. But I used to
So,
buy a gallon of Poland Spring at. Sometimes, and I used to fast, so sometimes when I fast and I used to do coconut water and the distilled water.
mhm.
Yeah,
Which he said the distilled water was good for
right.
fasting, for detoxing, right?
Yeah,
So I asked you that because you were trying to understand what caused the stroke as you were doing all the good things for your body.
right.
And I was wondering if it was dehydration based on the type of water you were drinking. Because, when we're dehydrated, our hearts take a toll, our bodies take a toll, and we don't
Uh,
always know it. We don't really shrivel up immediately, you
right.
know? So I was just wondering if that was the case. Did you
Well,
have your stroke?
part of my stroke, what I think now after I have to say revisiting things, I had a family issue. One of my dear sisters, she passed, but she lived in California, and what should I say? I had we had miscommunication in my book. because I was just like when COVID started, sort of thing before that. And one of my
Mhm.
cousins supposedly, what's the word? What's I forget the word now. But she took power of attorney over all her affairs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And my sister disappeared. And I think that must be what sort of started it. I think it could be. I didn't think I felt that way, but that was the only
Mhm.
thing sort of happening because it sort of destroyed the family and we sort of got divided. A lot of us had different views about what was happening because I know my sister used to ask me because I really wasn't working and she, oh, she was working still. She's older than me, but she was working. And she said to me, why don't come out here and, you don't have to pay rent and you don't have to do this. But I had a significant other and he was in another state also and he was sick. And he was begging me to come too and I didn't go. I was weighing the pros and the cons because in terms of, my sister did not tell me what was going on or anything. She didn't say any healthcare issues and I had nothing to go on, really. We talk a lot and they said she was getting Alzheimer's. When I speak to her, sometimes she had little, things she forget, which I do now. Sometimes forget a word or a conversation or something. But the way that she was 74, the way they talk about it, it was like she was doing this and she was doing that, and I couldn't see it because she didn't say and she didn't sound so. So I have four
Right.
other siblings living out there, and they didn't see it either, you know. So
Mhm.
she and my sister, her son told me that she had me on her list of things like co-signing stuff. But sometimes she come and she'll say, Beverly, how you doing for food? And she was like a Miss Whole Foods and Miss Healthcare. She was, she was pretty,
Mhm.
in my book, healthy. And she will ask me, Brooklyn is like her, that's what I call ethnic foods. So sometimes she will say, well, you buy some kind of, she used to call it nastiness, somebody nasty food, they went and buy. I should say, yeah. Or she say, how you doing funny? I said, girl, a boat came in last night, so I went 40 seconds. Used to have conversations, all kind of stupid
Mhm.
conversations. So when they say that she, my cousin took her because none of us cared about her,
Mm.
like, how this coming? And when you start delving into it, then she moved my cousin out of her house and put her in
Mm.
an asylum, didn't tell anybody. And then when
Mm.
my brothers found out because through pressure, they got lawyers and stuff to do stuff, she had everything under control, every paper signed and dotted. She even had she worked at the train station, she was a station agent, a
Mhm.
BART, San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit, and she even had a terminated because she was medically unfit and had a doctor's certificate saying she was medically unfit, got
Oh
her
my
driver's
goodness.
license revoked, got her, even her houses, She used to be a real estate agent before she became a station agent, so she had rentals. And everything just went to my cousin. And I don't
Mm.
know, sort of, I subconsciously I took it on, but it still hasn't been resolved yet. She is dead now. She got, I guess, they didn't say that, but when they go to, and that's another thing I tell people when they go to the doctor and the hospital, signing that DNR slip, do not do it at all.
That's right.
Because she apparently signed that, and once you sign that, if you start a cough, there's no help coming to you. They lock you in a room
That's right.
and they leave you there to expire.
That's
So,
right.
because of COVID also, they didn't have any, my brothers and them. So I have two brothers still live out there. One is a Muslim and one is, I have to say, a part-time one. He goes with him, and they went, they,
He's
why
not
you
a
laugh?
part-time lover. He's a part-time Muslim.
Yes, because he goes with him every Friday. He does everything, but
Okay.
he would not say that he's one. You know,
Okay.
he would
Okay.
he would not say he's one. My
Well, you
brother,
know what? You know what? He doesn't have to claim it. It's all about your spiritual
right,
walk.
practices
You
a lot of
know.
it. Yeah, because
That is
even
so
my
funny, part-time.
I call him, I call people part-time Christians too, because they go to
Mhm.
church
Mhm.
Sunday and Saturday night they partying. And I mean, I used to be
Mhm.
like that in my 20s, you know.
Mhm.
But so I give people labels like that.
That's
Sometimes,
cute, though. I like that.
yeah. But so they used to go to her to see, and imagine they had to beg a nurse to let them in, show papers that they were her sister to let them in
Wow.
there. And so when they go there, they take out pictures and they send to me and stuff like that. And I look at my sister. She went from like looking like a 20-year-old to a 90-year-old. That, I mean, even talking about it, it breaks my heart to think, because she was so vibrant, you know.
Mhm.
So sometimes I say, even the healthcare system, the law system, sometimes, because I try to, when my nephew called me and asked me, Auntie, please come out because your name on the forms and da. It breaks my heart to see that now he doesn't have anywhere to live. His mother had houses, had cars. She sold
Mm.
cars, she sold the houses. She used to drive a Jag, and she sold the cars. My nephew lived at her house, and he had a BMW in the garage because
Wait. Okay. Okay.
she
Okay.
sold everything. Everything.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
I.
let's talk about family, right?
Mhm.
So this is Evadyne with Company Talk Worth Listening to, and we're having a conversation, and it's
My God, I forgot
the
we are. Forgot we are.
no, and the converse, and if you, now Beverly,
Uh-huh.
if you want me to, I can edit this out so it doesn't go on YouTube. That would be okay.
You could.
No, say it again.
I said you could. I don't think. I forgot we were on the call.
Okay, I know, cause we friends, we hanging out. I know that's how it goes. But
Because
yeah, I can edit it. I can edit it. So, but let's 1 second though. Let's take a pause. So I'll have a break,
uh-huh. I have a drink.
and then no. I can break. So if I have a pause, it'll help me with editing to
Uh-huh.
take out that part, right?
Okay.
Now, hold on. Okay, so we are here. Evadyne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to. And I'm just going to say that again because um, a lot goes on every day in our lives, and we pay attention and then we don't pay attention.
Right.
But let me just say, you are here on Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself, Progressive Podcast Network. My show, if you're listening to this recorded, comes on Mondays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Mhm.
All of the shows, you can listen to the entire show lineup and join the shows by calling in to 520-525-8633. If your carrier charges you, you can text the words call me to that same number and you're going to get a free callback. Now, you could also log in on huddle.team, TEAM, and the meeting ID is Grown Folk. No S. GROWNFOLK. Grown Folk. We invite you again to listen to the complete show lineup. I will say, following my show at 7 p.m. is Slot Time with Star Turner. That's every Monday except the last Monday of the month. On the last Monday of the month, we have the King's Roundtable hosted by Leon. So come on board. Listen back in. Every morning at 7 a.m., we have a prayer line. On Tuesdays at 6 p.m., we have Grace Space with Karen, Deborah, and Jada. And at 7:30 p.m., we have the Pink Sofa Talk with Carol Lucille. YouTube? Absolutely. We have a YouTube. Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself. You will know you are on the right channel when you see that hot mic. It's on fire, really. We have a variety of shows, and no variety shows yet, but a variety of shows. Educational, informational, motivational, some religious and faith-based, some secular. Many of them are secular, but it's secular in the sense of empowerment. Empowerment. Um, we look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can go to my website, networkingforsuccess.info. That is my business. And so you can open up any door and walk into any one of those offices and you will find something for everyone. But I am most proud of and marketing strongly the books on mind/mental health and overall health and wellness. A lot of resources and information. And again, information, motivation, empowerment, direction. Ages 7 and above could read this book and understand it. And if there are any questions, that's a plus because that opens up communication. So back to us again. In life, many things happen. There are many dynamics with families. I was thinking about my mom today and some of the physical abuse that she encountered in her life that some of it I didn't know about until after her passing. And it made me think very hard on what her personal private thoughts could have been. And as I was thinking that, I received a text message from a young lady, and she said, I wish you were my mom. That was that was sweet. And I know her family. I've known her family for about 16 years, I guess. Wow, time is flying. For about 16 years. So I've known her since she was very young, maybe 4 or 5, 6. And we've grown up seeing each other once a year because they're a family that are my tax clients. But when I received that text message from her, at the same time that I was thinking about my mom, I also took that as my mom telling me, it's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. I don't know how I related the two of those things. And then right after that, I was texting her and driving. A song came on that was one of my mother's favorite songs. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, you certainly did.
I got it. Because, yeah, we could think so long on the different things that are happening around us that it could cause us to get sick. We, how do I say this? Well, I strongly recommend people listening to on YouTube Conversations with God. It is a book. Read. It's read online on YouTube, Conversations with God. And it puts a lot of different things into perspective. The who, what, where, when, and why is something, I don't even know if they're teaching that in school anymore, but that used to be part of current events homework. Who, what, where, when, why. And we can always question why, especially what should I have done? What could I have done? What in the world is going on? I have some ideas about a story I heard. And when I talked about conversations getting twisted a little earlier, when words come to me, when stories come to me, I listen very carefully. And we just have to be mindful about who we not only love, but who we like and who we trust. And making sure that things are in place the way we want them to be in place. We cannot reverse the passing of family members. And it's so interesting. Earlier today, when thinking about today's talk, I thought I would invite people to listen to today's talk, and it would be about preparing for the passing of a loved one.
Wow.
Preparing for the passing of a loved one, because that is an incident, an occasion that devastates people, and sometimes more than one person passes. not literally, but figuratively, spiritually,
Hmm.
emotionally.
Yeah.
People take people down
Mm.
when they, and we don't encourage it. We're not looking forward to it. We're not sending out an invitation. But if we're prepared for the passing of a loved one, we can continue standing. And that is so critical at that time. As a life insurance agent, I also recommend to people go make your arrangements while you're here. Not because you're rushing it, but that there's no emotional selling when you're no longer here. And you have put things in place the way you want them to be. And sometimes that's much simpler than what happens after the passing. Passing is a part of living. It is a part of living. We don't know when or how, but we do know, yes, it will it will happen. But we don't want our loved ones to be devastated. We don't want things out of control. Out of control. We want to know that how we want it, what we wanted, who we want things to go to. Not only write it down, because you have some people who will write these things down and hide them. What you hiding it for? No. Even if you don't want to tell the person, you have at least two people who have copies of everything you want done if you have property, with your bank accounts. And it could even say, because it's crazy how people could lose control of their lives while they're still living and it be no progressive disorder. Just it could be a major accident and you could no longer make the decisions for yourself. You could have a stroke and you could no longer make decisions for yourself. So you want to prepare for just in case and have two people who are knowledgeable and written in as the people who can take care of your business. Two people, not one.
Mm.
Now, the reason we say two is because if you're in an accident with one of those people, that person's not going to be able to help you if you
Right.
only have one person on there. So you want to designate two people to help manage your care or to take care of your business. And sometimes we have children who are questionable.
Mm.
Who are questionable. And
Mhm.
so you want to leave things in a way, that's what the trust is good for, with the financial strategies, MWR, and just outside of that business, if you have property, if you have valuables, if you have anything that you want to keep within your family, you don't even want your child's mate to be able to control it. Like them, don't know them, whatever.
Mm.
If you want to keep it in your family bloodline, then you want to create a trust. And that trust, in it, you will designate people to manage it and manage it the way you want it to be managed. It's a trust, right? And there's different types of trust, but you can get information on that. That DNR, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Mm.
let me tell you, that DNR is very, very tricky if you don't know what it means.
I'm
And I
telling you.
told the story when my mother was DNR and she didn't know it until I went down there. The nurse, how is she doing? What can you tell me? She said, well, your mother's DNR. And before that, my mother was, oh, I'm so tired. When that lady said she was DNR, that lady's head popped up. She was like, what? What? I, when I tell you she got a jucal dose of B12, she popped her head up. She said, no, but this is what happened. There was a machine that they would use, the BPAP machine, that they would use when she was having an anxiety attack and couldn't breathe.
Mm.
She told them she didn't like that machine and she didn't want them using it. This is when you're like super intelligent, right?
Mm.
She didn't want them using it. Well, that's what they explained to her. Well, Miss Smith, when you told us you didn't want us to use that machine on you, you were telling us you didn't want us to use any life-saving measures. That included everything. So you signed off on that, which means if something were to happen to you, we would do nothing
Mm.
because you say you don't want us to use any life-saving measures. She was like, oh. I said, excuse me, Miss P, would you like to change that? she said, yeah. So, of course, the nurse brought the papers in, and, she lived another, oh, gosh, Mommy lived another 5 years after that.
Mm.
5 years? I would say so. Time flies. But you have to know what that means. I also had a friend who went into the hospital, and it wasn't officially during COVID. It was like COVID out, but she always children, she never wanted to be hooked up to machines. Now, I don't know how old any of you listeners are, but there was a young lady named Karen Ann Quinlan who was on life support for almost a decade or a little more. It's a big difference between a Karen Ann Quinlan case using a machine to help your body recover. Some of these machines help you to recover. It releases the pressure and the tension off of your body, just like when they put you in a drug-induced coma. It's releasing the pressure of your body using your body. So they use these machines to help your body while your body heals. And in many cases, it works. You must be mindful. DNR is absolute finito capiche.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be that way. But you again have to be mindful about there's a book, Who's Holding Your Ladder? It's a Christian book written by a pastor or an assistant pastor, but that's what it was about. It was about if you're pastoring and you have assistant pastors or deacons or who are supposed to be part of your support team, be mindful of how supportive they really are or are not, because they might be a step missing when you come down. So who's holding your ladder? But of course that can go in any case. That can go in business, that can go in family. It could go anywhere, anyhow. So I had mentioned, I went back to the water. We were talking about the different types of water. So if you're listening to this, please go on to the Grown Folk Talking YouTube. You're going to see the Health Man show, TheHealthMan show. And you can go to his YouTube as well. That's the same title. But he did, yesterday, his talk was on water and salt. So just for the record, get rid of regular table salt. Let's just get rid of that. But you can listen to his show. Himalayan sea salt, Celtic salts, those salts are good for you and good to you. Good for you and good to you. Traditional table salt has a lot of additives. He didn't mention this, but I also heard that it's salt, sand, and glass. But when he talked about the anti-caking materials that they use, I stuck the glass and the sand in that because that's what I heard. Because that would keep it from, that could keep it from caking, because the glass would always, when you shake it or whatever, it always break it up. And it's all refined, because that's what I was told that arterial sclerosis comes from. When you get hardening of the arteries, it's a matter of how did the plaque get into the arteries. And one of the ways is traditional table salt stripping your arteries because of the anti-caking possible ingredients in it. So it strips gradually strips your arteries, and that allows the plaque to get in and your arteries to become not as durable as they should be. So that's one of the stories I heard, and that's when I heard about the sand, salt, and sand, salt, and glass in traditional table salt. Refined, of course. Also, to speak about refineries a little bit, stevia. If you purchase stevia from the store and it's white, take it back. No, just stop purchasing it. Stevia is a green leaf, Leaf. It's a green leaf. So if it is white, that means it is just as unhealthy for you as white sugar. I don't know why they think everything white is good, but you can get pure stevia, possibly on Amazon, but I get mine from remediesherbshop.com, remediesherbshop.com. And they're on Court Street in Brooklyn. But you can order online and they can mail it to you, or you can stop by if you're local. If you're coming in for the holidays from anywhere, you could stop by. Just stop by. And I mentioned them in my book. I mentioned so many things in my books because when you pick it up, you have no idea what you have. You have no idea what you have. And you also get a wonderful gift package in there. Years ago when we ordered things and they came, a white envelope would come in it. And in that white envelope would be a whole lot of coupons and offers and all that. You remember that, Beverly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have that in digital form. It's my thank you package. But I'll give it to you all, as a matter of fact. So nfspcn.com. nfspcn.com. It stands for Networking for Success Power Card Network. NF, as in Frank, spcn.com. You have over $250 in grocery coupons, discounts on theater, travel, jewelry. You have guides to musical artists, visual artists. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Everything's in there except for cars and houses, but I'm working on it. There's so much in there, so much to do. So, I mean, I like it. I'm just saying, you know. And you also have the e-books in there, actually, come to think of it. You have the 2 digital e-books that are in there. But yeah, there's a lot of action going on, a lot of do's and don'ts. And let's just go back to that white thing. Everything white isn't right. When I purchase clothes from the store, in packages or not, I do not wear them until I wash them. And some people think that's a bit extreme. But the perfect example I gave is when I purchased the white T-shirts, name brand, Hanes, and I put them down in the sink, just in water. And the bathroom smelled like I poured a gallon of bleach in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I put absolutely nothing in the water other than the T-shirts. So I called my daughter in, and I just asked her if she felt I put in too much bleach, and of course she said yes. And then I told her I put in none, and she was like, what? So if those shirts were to be worn straight out of the packet, and you sweat, even if you don't, well, you do sweat, but even if you don't sweat, those chemicals are lying against your skin. Your skin is your largest organ, and that organ leads to your bloodstream. So I wash clothes before I wear them because they've gone through not just bleach, they've gone through handling. They've gone from, let's pretend it's cotton, from coming out the ground to being processed to look like fabric, to being dyed, to being sewed, to being packaged. Before it gets packaged, it has to be inspected, right? Then it gets packaged, and then it gets unpackaged. And if it's not packaged and somebody tries it on, or they go home and wear it and bring it back because the party's over, like, enough. Like, enough. So wash before you wear. And I know I'm a little freaky because I even wash my coats. The guy told me one day in the laundromat when I first moved, he said, okay, He appeared to be homeless because he was in there asking for money, right? Let's go back to the homeless thing a minute. And he said to me, he said, you have your whole wardrobe here. So what does that tell us about his upbringing?
He knows.
The fact that, huh? Did you say that?
No, I said he knows things.
That's right, because he didn't say your closet.
Right.
He said you have your whole wardrobe here. Because I had from my outer coats to my suit jackets to my dresses to my slacks to my. He said you have your whole wardrobe here. And I just smiled. Don't take for granted that where you see a person is where they are.
No,
And here's
true.
another story. Right? Okay, go ahead, Beverly. Go ahead.
No, I said that's true. Don't look down on anybody anywhere.
Not at all. Not at all. And even my show last week on addiction, it was interesting. This week I had a gentleman who he said he's 26 years clean. And he's 26 years clean, and he attributed it to Jesus Christ. And I said, okay. But then I had somebody else in here who stretched Jesus out a few minutes ago. He was like, Jesus. I was like, okay, you stretch that out. Maybe that's two names, syllabalized. But you can't look down on people, and you can't look up on people. Because there was a lady with me about 2 weekends ago who handed me a telephone and told me somebody left it in my car. And I was like, okay. But no. She was Caucasian, above middle age. Nobody left that in my car. She stole somebody's bag. And it was a worker. She worked for, it was a Revlon corporate phone. So she realized she couldn't get it. Now, I don't know what else she took, because when I finished, it was also the bag with all the chargers and a cosmetics something or another. I didn't open it. But I took it to Macy's. I took it up to the executive office of Macy's. But we checked, and nobody reported it missing. And let me tell you, I don't know if y'all know me or not, right? But there was only one person who was a customer of mine in a 2-day period who did not take my paperwork with them. So if anybody would have left a stray hair in my car, they would have called me directly and say, hey, Miss Evadyne, But it would clip somebody. So you can't look at people and think, oh, they wouldn't do that. Wealthy people are kleptomaniacs. Wealthy people do the same things that unwealthy people do. It's all about your personality and your disorder. That's what it's all about. But there's hope for everyone. There's hope for everyone. Okay. So over this past weekend when I was at the Christmas event, I met a young lady, and her name was Larnez Kinsey, Kinsey, and she has a book called Black Girl Magic. I was hoping she would be able to come on today. I know it was short notice, but, I just do things the way I do them. And it's a small read. It's a small read, but I believe she said she raised 3 or 4 daughters, and it really goes back to there's no rule book on parenting. No rule book on anything really, but no rule book on parenting. So every day is a new day. You learn from the last day. You do your best. And when the young lady texts me today and says, I really wish you were my mom, I felt that strongly, and I text her back. We communicated via text throughout the day. But I also told her that if I was your mom, you wouldn't have those pretty eyes. I'm just telling you, because she got her mama's eyes, But I told her, parenting doesn't come with a rule book. And when we feel like we're doing our best and the right thing, that's what we're doing. But as a receiver of that information, I had a young lady today that I was sharing the book with, and She says she tried to unlife herself 2 times.
Hmm.
That's the new phrase. I had mentioned it the other day. I couldn't remember. I don't even know if I got it right, but today she tried to unlife herself. People are
Hmm.
saying that, kill yourself or people dying or somebody kills somebody, right? I said, how old were you? And she said the first time she was 15, the second time she was 17. Her mother was a narcissist.
Hmm.
She said it was either her way or no way, and her way wasn't the right way. She left no room for freedom. And you have some people who may not be narcissists, but they feel like because they're the parents, they know. And I say to myself, and I put it in the book, you don't know what you don't know because you don't know it. And the one thing you don't know, when you can go through a whole day and not question something that you did, like, why the heck did I do that? Then you can control somebody else. Otherwise, I believe parents are in the guiding seat. We're to guide our children, to nurture them, to support them, to feed them. Feed them,
Hmm.
please, And when it gets to that point, and I figured her age at the time of that act, I told her thank you for failing twice. But it's hormonal changes that we all go through. We all have been through them, but nobody's talking about them. It's just, you know what they talk about? They talk about the day going to change your life in hot flashes. They talk about the change of life in men and younger women. Yeah, let's go backwards though. Let's talk about that first change when you're going through puberty, when your hormones are racing and you don't even know there's a race on because it's you and you're too young to know because nobody told you. And then you have the parents who are sometimes um, living in an imaginary box and everything is supposed to be square and you're supposed to do it like this because I did. And you have those parents who are still not talking about knowing and understanding hormonal changes that are now happening when these children are 8 and 9 years old.
Hmm.
Talk about sinful. That's sinful. 8 or 9 years old, children are going through puberty. So here you have the young man whose voice may not have cracked yet, but he's getting all of this masculinity inside of him, and so he's feeling strong and tough, but he doesn't know he's feeling strong and tough. He's just outwardly behaving the way his hormones are moving him. And then you have the little girl who people think, oh, you're supposed to be so sweet. Look at you, I'm still doing your hair in barrettes and pigtails. Where you get this attitude from? She don't know because it's inside of her. Yes, she is expressing herself according to the hormones in her DNA, quote unquote DNA. So she's acting like you, but he doesn't know. It's the hormonal changes going on in her body. You don't see them. The only thing, what do we see? We see when the male's voice crack. We see when the males start getting mustaches, even though some of them can have mustaches almost at birth, right? We see when the girls start developing breast. Unfortunately, when their cycles start at 10 years old, that is sinful. I just want the world to listen when I say that, just in case they could do anything about it. Of course they can because they're creating that early system. But that's when you see, that's your visual. I can see this happening. But long before you can see it happening, it's happening internal. So you see it, but parents are seeing it as a challenge. Who you think you're talking to? I'm sorry, excuse me. Are they supposed to respond to you in that same tone? I'm talking to you. If they do that, then they're in trouble, right? But when you say, who you think you're talking to? Who, what? Now you're speaking adult to adult. You're confronting them with the attitude they're giving you. They're giving you adult attitude, so you're giving it back to them in a way where you're supposed to be disciplining them. However, they're still little people. They don't even know what you're talking about. I heard the little girl say the other day, I'm trying my best not to respond to you that way. But the adult in her life can't see it. The adult in her life only sees her responding with, well, first of all, with quickness and with accuracy, but the adult in her life can't accept it coming from a little people. I'm sorry, did I mention that word people? Yeah, people. Children are little people. They're little people. They're not puppets or muppets. They're not dogs or cats or birds. They're little people growing, hopefully, into big people. So that guidance is, I know, I'm just a talk to you person. My story is, what do you want me to do now that you've done that? That would be my conversation with my child. Right or wrong, however it turned out. When she did something wrong, what do you think we should do about this now? I want you to be part of the process, right? We should be communicating a little bit more. I say take a deep breath before responding. Not everything needs a response. But if you're arguing back and forth with a young person, something tells me you're kind of young too in the head, right? Because your age doesn't reflect your maturity. It doesn't affect your maturity. You're not necessarily mature because you are old. That would only show in your behavior. But if you're going back and forth word for word, wanting the child to shut up, I think there's a role displacement here. It doesn't mean that if you be quiet that you're giving in and letting them win. Again, that's that, development thing. It's not about letting them win. It's everybody winning, the family winning, them learning from your example. But you going back and forth with them, oh yeah, that's going to be 50 years. 50 years of back and forth. But I did a lot of talking today. Any comments? Anybody? On anything? Any questions? Any comments? Any thoughts? If you're watching this recorded and you have some thoughts about this, please put them in the comments section. If you're on my YouTube and you did not like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell, I want to say don't come back. But even if I said it, you're going to come back because you do like it, but you won't share it. And I do ring your bell, but you won't ring back. I swear I need a stage. So anywho, and you don't have to subscribe to my thoughts as in agreeing. But of course, if you're not subscribing, you know that could affect my money. It could affect my wallet. Listen to me chit chat like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know, something about monetizing and your likes and dislikes and watches and views and all of that. Oh, do me a favor, everybody who's watching and listening. When you talk to your folks, when you write out your holiday cards, Kwanzaa cards, when you make this is so stupid. When you make the next outgoing message on your answering machine, say, oh, and by the way, after you leave a message, please go to Evadyne Smith 3986 on YouTube and ring subscribe, share, and like. Everybody listening can go do that. I'm going to kid it. I know you're not going to do that. That's okay. But you can do it. And when you go to Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself YouTube, you can like, share, subscribe, and ring their bell too. All the bells can get rung at the same time. Make believe it's a Salvation Army. Collecting for Christmas, right? I thank you all. Any comments, any questions? Is there a joke for the day? Boy, if I start that, that's going to be interesting. Is there a joke for the day?
Hello, Evadyne.
Hello, Marcus. How are you today?
I'm well. I just wanted to thank you for your podcast today. And I'm glad be able to tune in and listen in and listen to your show and keep it up. Very, very thoughtful, very inspiring.
That's very kind of you, Marcus. Marcus, tell us about your co-hosting on the third Friday of this month?
Yeah, that's actually this coming Friday on Adrian's channel, which is the Can We Talk with Adrian, this Friday at 6 p.m. And I have a very, very intriguing topic this coming Friday dealing with misdirection and misconception. So we'll get into some things and hopefully get a clear direction and see where we can move from there. But in bite-sized pieces, I'm a promise. Okay, I will not put the whole spread on the table this time. Just one course at a time.
One course at a time. Make us wait. But it's very interesting. I really enjoyed your first. This will be your second, correct?
Yes, this will be the second.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the first one. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss one. Yes, so looking forward. Do we have homework? You're going to give us, those listening a little...
Oh, yeah. Every week, everybody's going to have homework, and everybody's got a month. Go ahead and get it done. So.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate it. So that's this Friday. Is the third Friday already? No.
Already.
Oh, my goodness. Time is flying. Well, this Friday, Can We Talk at 6 p.m. With Adrian and co-hosted with Marcus. And it should be good. Would anyone else like to announce their show here on Grown Folk Talking or anywhere else? Da 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 da. Ba 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 la 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 la. Okay. Well, again, 7 p.m. tonight on Mondays, slot time with Star Turner. Every Monday except the last Monday of the month. That is the King's Roundtable with Leon. And the King's Roundtable is a men's support show. It's a men's support podcast. And occasionally the ladies are invited in. Well, occasionally everyone is invited in. So, not sure what's happening this month. It's a very interesting month with the holidays. But the last Monday of the month, the King's Roundtable. And then 7 a.m., the prayer line, call in to give, call in to receive. 6 p.m., Grace Space with Deborah, Jada, and Karen. 7:30 p.m., the Pink Sofa Talk with Carol Lucille. And listen to the show lineup on 520-525-8633. This is the Grown Folk Talking, Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network. And I am Evadyne with Evadyne with Company Talk Worth Listening To. I invite you again, please go to my website, networkingforsuccess.info, and shop the shops. Purchase the book for all of your friends. Discounts if you buy them wholesale. What did I do the other day? Always something interesting, but well, I'm sorry. So now, no, it was really good. No, it was good. It had to do with the book, and I shared it with someone who needed it, but didn't have the money to buy it. So I said, "What's your name?" And they told me their name, and I proceeded to sign the book. They say, "No, no, no." I said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." See, when you need it, you need it. And when I want you to have it, that's something different. So I want everyone to have it. But for those who need it, they need it. That's the immediate need, you know? And don't forget, if you know a good therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist program that works well with helping people, chaplain, minister, anyone who's good at listening, discerning, directing, please share them with me as I am building the Networking for Success Therapy Network. I will not give the therapy. I will not sit in on the therapy sessions. But I would like to give direction to where people can contact people who may be able to help them. I have one person up there now, Tiffany Collier. And here was the most interesting thing this weekend, too. I met a lady who's a psychologist, but now she's going for her Master's of Science to become a mental health therapist. Can anybody on here tell me why a psychologist would have to go to school to be a mental health therapist? And I know there's a reason. I just don't understand it. I mean, I love continuing education, but in my brain, I would think, well, maybe not. Maybe the study of so the study of see how we get the answers, but someone can add to it. The study of psychology and having a degree in psychology and becoming a psychologist is one thing, but the application, as with many degrees, the application of therapy through psychology or therapy for mental health is different. Okay, thank you very much for the answer. That was my co-author speaking. But that's just what we came up with. If you come up with something else, please let me know. But I just couldn't understand it on the surface. I would think that a psychologist would be able to hold therapy sessions. That's what I was thinking. But I'll see how right I am, and thankfully this is recorded, so I'll be able to go back and listen. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't in a tunnel. All right, everyone. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from this world to the outer world for participating, for listening, for giving feedback, for sharing, for sending good, positive vibes, and for knowing that we're here to be our best, to do our best for the best outcome. Thank you. This is Evadyne signing out. I appreciate you.